Hi, I'm Vivek Bapat with SAP. I work in marketing and communications. And today it's my distinct honor and privilege to welcome Dr. Stewart Friedman from Wharton Business School and Director of the Work-Life Integration Project. What are some of the general trends that you're seeing out there?
Thanks for having me, Vivek. When my first son was born, this is over 30 years ago now, I could not get out of my head this question of what was I going to do to make the world a safe one for him to grow up in. And I brought this question to my MBA students. I asked them, what are you going to do as a future business leader to ensure that your people, indeed you personally, are going to be helping to nurture not just the next generation of management talent in your business, but the next generation. One of them, in response to my asking, what are you going to do, turned around and said, well, you're the professor, you tell us. And I was simply asking the question. So I then began trying to find an answer to this question. What can we do to help people be who they need to be in the different parts of their lives? What can we in the business world do to enable human freedom? So we started doing research on what does it take to integrate the different parts of your life, your work, your home or family, your community or society, and then there's the domain of the private self, your mind, body, and spirit. How do you take care of those things? And what's the relationship among the different parts? And so we went into the field and studied people who seem to do this really well. And we found some principles that people follow. And we created initiatives that enable people to learn those principles of what it means to be real, to be whole, to be innovative. And what we have found is that when you enable people to do that, especially in a peer-to-peer coaching environment, they can feel more confident and strong in being able to communicate what's central to them. What happens is that people adjust. They start to think differently and see the opportunity for taking action that allows them to make things better. And they end up performing better at work, and that enables them to be smarter about what to focus on at work. They feel less distracted, they bring more energy and commitment, and they feel that their work is more meaningful, more purposeful. So that's the essence of what we have discovered over these last 30 years with this program called Total Leadership.
Tell me a little more about that, and what were some of the challenges that you saw in terms of leaders saying, this is a new topic, this is forcing me in a way to go deep within myself. Give us a little more on the framework.
What we find is that it does take some courage, but once you see other people exploring what their values and vision are, who is most important in their lives, and they get excited about undertaking experiments that are designed to help them learn through experience about how to create change that's truly sustainable, it helps to frame the conversation, the work, and we're here to help you to improve your business results and the mental health of your people.
Tell us a little more about how leaders can exemplify vulnerability and courage in telling their own stories.
Everyone has a story, and you help people to uncover the meaning of the stories that are significant to them, while giving them complete control over their privacy. If that raises a story that you don't want to share with anyone, don't. That's cool. Nobody's going to intrude. But maybe there is some ore in that mountain that you want to extract that other people would benefit from hearing about, that would help them to know you're a human being just like them. So a standard practice that I have when I'm doing workshops or talks, even if there's 2,000 people in the room or 12, I'll always try to get people to do a simple exercise that I call the 4-way view. Work, home, community, and self. What's most important to you? Allocate 100 points across the different domains. Where do you devote your attention in a typical week? Another 100 points. Rate your well-being or sense of health in each domain. And then how well are you doing in meeting the expectations of the people who matter most to you in the different parts? 4 minutes to do that. Talk to someone about that, who's also just done the same analysis. And so they'll have a 5-minute conversation. This is not a deep dive psychotherapy session. It's 3 minutes for you, 3 minutes for me. What do you discover when you do this analysis? Almost every time, the first thing I hear, and I've done this 100 times more, that was a lot easier than I thought, and I'm not the only one, and that feels a little better.
Yeah.
We can create opportunities for people to see that what they're experiencing, struggling with the struggles of life, is normal, which helps you to feel less like you might be failing and more like a human being who's striving to create a little more peace, a little bit more harmony in their lives. And you can talk about that and get some help with that.
Where can people reach you, find more about your work? How can they get engaged with you? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, totalleadership.org is the site where you can learn all about this work. It links to the Wharton Work-Life Integration Project site and all the research that we've written up there and the social policy and advocacy work that we do. At totalleadership.org, there's also free resources, chapters from my books. Some of the assessment tools that I've referred to here are available there for free. And there's the latest weekly episode of my SiriusXM Wharton Business Radio show. It's called Work and Life, and we publish free podcast versions of those shows every week. So,
perfect. Well, very good.
Thanks for asking.
It's been my distinct pleasure to share a few thoughts and learn from Dr. Stewart Friedman on this very, very important topic that impacts almost all of our lives in one way or the other. Thanks for joining us today, and Stu, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks.